Hello, welcome to Malt. I'm Andy and this is Whisky Review number 39. What I have for you today is a single malt Scotch whisky from the Campbelltown region, and that comes in the form of the Kilkerran 12-year-old. Pop that there. Right, Kilkerran is not a distillery, or at least not anymore. This is actually distilled at a distillery named Glengyle. And Glengyle Distillery is owned by the same company that owns Springbank, J&A Mitchell. Now, they basically reopened the distillery in 2004, and over the last few years, I think since 2009, that's very right here, 2009, they've been releasing what they've called work in progress releases under the Kilkerran name. And the last one was Kilkerran Work in Progress 7 in 2015, and each year what they did is they released a bourbon release and a sherry release, so two different types of maturation. For what it's worth, I preferred the bourbon ones every year, but the sherry ones are still fantastic, so that says something. Now, Kilkerran 12-year-old. Released in August 2016. It's single malt Scotch whisky, bottled at 46%, and proudly on the back are two very, very, for me, important phrases. Not chill filtered, 1. No added colouring, 2. And they're not making a big fanfare about it on the front of the label or anything. It's just in basic text, either side of the duty label. Not chill filtered, no added colouring. Straight to the point, yes, that is what we like. I just wish that other people would do that. Other distilleries, other companies. Right, moving on. So, onto the whisky. It's a lightly peated release. The distillery itself at Glengyle is quite small, so it's a limited outrun. Looks like a big dram, it's just a small glass. It's not actually, it's kind of a big dram as well. Nice golden colour there, memories of summer, let's call it. Because you know I don't take myself too seriously, I'm not going to call it like shades of golden straw. I'm not into the whole Dulux colour chart colouring thing. Nice legs on the glass there. So without further ado, let's get on to the nose. Lavender, peat smoke, bonfires, sea air, ozone-y, salty sea spray, loveliness, toffee, cereal, like roasted barley almost as well. Little touch of vanilla in there. Slight herbal quality. I'm trying. Sorry, just get that off the old top lip. Already, you can tell it's a very well put together spirit. I've owned several of the work in progress releases, and they're all top quality. They defied their age, to be fair. The nose on this, it's just very cohesive. I know I mentioned all those random notes like your lavender and your sea spray and all that, and you might think, what the is he going on about? But it works, it's so well balanced, it just works perfectly. It's really, really in tune with itself. There is a slight note of coriander in there as well. I hate coriander, I despise it in my food. I've tried so many times to eat it, and I just can't do it. But with this, it really works. It's the only time that I will enjoy it. A little bit of lemon in there as well. So just hovering above it then. Just got a little bit sort of like smoky meat and a little bit of kind of wet wood, not wet pencil. Maybe chewing it. Right, moving on onto the palate now. Wow. Wow. Your peat's there again. Your bonfire's there again. Not that I've ever tasted bonfire, but trust me, I've walked past enough bonfires and coal fires in my life. Lovely kind of sweet tobacco leaf. You've got your peat smoke there again. You've got this lovely golden barley. You've got toffee. You've got boiled sweets. You've got fruit pastels, which is odd but really nice. You've got more vanilla. So much vanilla in there. Spice. It's really warm. It's prickly. There's so much going on. There's almost a minerality to it. Again, it's that kind of saltiness that I mentioned on the nose, kind of the ozone sea spray. I mean, please don't judge me for saying this because I'm going to sound like a right prat. Picking up a pebble from the beach, it's dry, but if you licked it, it still tastes like salt water and you still have that kind of like weird granity flavour. Ignore me. Right, moving on. The finish, long, warming, sweet, and there is a little bit of that oak influence in there as well. Crap, what a dram. Honestly, I wish you were here. I won't share it because I want it to myself. Sorry. That kind of smoked meatiness that I mentioned before just become even more prevalent going from the palate back to the nose. There's like an old leathery note in there. There's more of that barley, there's more of the peat smoke, there's more of the bonfire in there, there's a bit of seaweed in there as well, which is kind of weird because for me, I only find that on Islay whiskies, and that is the first time that I picked it up in this. Oh, I was saying that, I've not had it open for very long, as you can see, but it's the first time I picked up on that. The lemon has become slightly more prevalent. Oh, it's just a good whiskey. We're not even at the end yet. It's a good whiskey. Heather, honey, marmalade. That's three separate things, not one product. Not heather, honey, marmalade. Might be a market for that actually, come to think of it. There's still this lovely kind of savoury note in the background as well. I know I've said smoked meat, sort of charred meat. Imagine some really well done, thick cut bacon steaks. Yes, yes. I'm going to put a teaspoon of water in, see what that does. I don't think it needs any more because it's bottled at 46%. While that does its thing, the whiskey itself retails for around 35 to 40 quid, depending on where you're looking, but going rate around about 40 quid. The cask makeup, it's a split. It's 70% ex-bourbon, 30% ex-sherry. And I mentioned before, for me personally, the work in progress releases from Kilkerran, Glengyle. were my favourite, the bourbon releases, and I think the bourbon maturation really shows here as well. You know, I mean, I think a lot of those key sort of vanilla sweet notes are there. You've got a little bit of the sherry influence as well, giving it a bit of body, a little bit of oomph, and it's really well priced. A non-chill filtered, an openly non-chill filtered whiskey, natural colour, 12-year-old, 46% from small distillery at 40 quid. What's not to like about that? What is not to like? And J&A Mitchell know what they're doing. They really do. Because Springbank is another cracking distillery which we're going to be moving on to in the next couple of reviews as well. Or within the next couple of reviews, should I say. I mean, you'll notice that I've not actually done any Campbelltown reviews as of yet. That is because I've only got about 6 Campbelltown whiskies. 7 Campbelltown whiskies. Well, no, 6 because 2 of them are the same. And that is because there is only 3 active distilleries in Campbelltown. You've got Glengyle, you've got Springbank, and you've got Glen Scotia. At one time, Campbelltown was the centre of the Scotch whisky world. There were more distilleries centred in Campbelltown in the early 20th century, should I say, 1900s, than there was anywhere else in Scotland in terms of area size. And when the Great Depression hit in the 1920s, a lot of them basically shut down because there was no demand for it in the US, because the US was like the key market at the time. And I suppose to some extent it still is for a lot of distillers. And basically, as the distilleries closed, shut down, you know, turn into other things, the whole area just basically stopped making whiskey to an extent. You know, I mean, up until 2004, there was only 2. There was only Springbank and there was Glen Scotia. And Glen Scotia's been open and shut God knows how many times. And when I say there are only 3 distilleries, if you've seen other whiskies in the market or online or in a shop called Longrow or Hazelburn and you think, well, hang about, there's actually 5. No, they're made at Springbank. They're just different styles, which we're going to get onto in the first Springbank review that I do. So this has now had a bit of time to open up. So let's see what that does. It's, with water, the barley comes through even more. It really does. The lemon's still there. It's still very sweet. I think Werther's Originals, very sort of like sickly caramel. Firework. It's 6th of November here today, by the way, so you might find that there's a couple of explosions. And I'm also using a new setup. I'm using my SLR and an external microphone. So sorry if it all goes wrong. We're just trying it out for this one, so let's see how it goes. So yeah, the smoke on the nose has actually been toned down quite a lot, to be honest with you. There's another one. It's still there, but I think the herbal qualities and the sweeter notes have actually been pushed forward a little bit. And to be honest with you, it's actually got a bit of a lowland nose. It's got a little bit of floral quality to it. It's quite light, it's quite grassy. It's almost a dram of 2 halves. On the palate, it's not done the mouthfeel any favours. Apple crumble, really crisp green apple. More vanilla, more custard. And you do have that cereal note in the barley that I mentioned coming into the palate now. So like honey nut cornflakes. You've also got a little bit of ginger, not too much. You've still got sort of boiled sweet note as well. The finish has actually become warmer, which is odd. You find normally that it goes the other way if you put a little bit of water in. It's just satisfyingly warm. It's nicely heated. A little bit of spice. The oak influence is still there. It is actually a lot sweeter on the finish as well. I'm getting icing sugar now, which is obviously very, very sweet. But it's not sickly because it's still quite light. It's not overpowering. It's not clunky. It's not thick. It's not cloying. In summer, it's a really well put together spirit, should I say? And I think the guys at Glengyle onto an absolute winner. It belies its age, it really does. I think, in my opinion, I'd put this, if I hadn't have tasted it before and somebody didn't tell me what age it was, I'd have put this in sort of like 15 to 17 year old category. Not quite an 18, but it's certainly well above its age in terms of its maturity and spirit. I think it's a cracking dram. And I'd say 40 quid, non-chill filtered, natural colour. The whiskey did go slightly cloudy, which doesn't make a jot of difference to me, but I know a lot of distillers say, oh, we don't chill filter our whiskey because we don't like it when customers don't like it, the fact that it's gone cloudy, if you know what I mean. Just behave, come on. Just let people make their minds up. If people don't like it to go cloudy, then, you know, tough. They'll get something else, or better education in terms of the spirit itself indicates that there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? It's just cloudy whiskey. There's what is wrong with that? So I just think they're onto a winner. Really, really are. Very impressive. Small distillery, knocking out some quality spirit, quality people running it. And on that note, score. I'm going to give this whiskey a 92 out of 100. So that is the second review actually in 2 reviews. That's 2 out of 2 that I've given 92 to. And I think it's thoroughly deserving. It's just so good to see the first age statement released from the distillery, and they've just done everything right. They've ticked all the right boxes in my book. It's a really, really quality introduction into the market for them, outside of the work in progress range. Well priced, really well priced, such good value for money. It's just quality, really good quality, and I really do suggest that you go out and try it if you can. So, sorry for rambling on. Thanks for watching. It is really impressive though, to be fair. See you soon.